Some people leave a dynasty quietly. They pack their things, cross an ocean, and begin again. They do not look back. Meghan Markle was never that kind of person. She left loudly, deliberately, and with a plan. A plan that required the world to keep paying attention. A plan that, on one particular night above the Arabian desert, came within a customs officer's yellow warning light of total collapse. This is the story of that night. It is a work of dramatic fiction. The names are real, but the events you are about to hear are imagined. What is not imagined is the question at the heart of it all. When a woman walks away from the most powerful family on earth, how far can she go before the crown reaches out and stops her? The answer, as it turns out, is Dubai International Airport. Terminal 3. 2 in the morning. A VIP lounge that was about to feel very much like a trap. The overnight flight from Los Angeles had been smooth. Meghan sat alone in her private cabin, still and focused, her hands resting on a slim parchment envelope in her lap. She had not slept. She had been running through the plan again and again, checking for cracks, finding none, or convincing herself she had found none, which is a different thing entirely. Beyond the gilded customs gates of Dubai International, a contract worth $15 million was waiting for her. A Gulf investment conglomerate had spent months orbiting her media empire, drawn by the story she represented, the actress who became a duchess, who walked away from the palace and declared war on it from a cliff-top mansion in California. They believed that story was worth something enormous. They were right, but they had one condition. They needed to know the British crown was still behind her. Not just in spirit. On paper. Meghan did not have that paper. So she made it. Months earlier, while sorting through boxes of archived files packed before she and Harry left the royal household, she had found them. Blank sheets of official royal stationery. Pre-stamped with the crimson seal of the crown. They had belonged to Harry's old office during his years as a working prince. Forms meant for charitable correspondence, never filled in and apparently never destroyed. She held one up to the light and understood immediately what it could become. On that sheet, she typed a letter of royal patronage, authorizing her media project, implying the blessing of the British monarchy, and bearing a seal that was completely real and an authority that was completely false. The document was meticulous. The forgery was elegant. And Meghan, boarding the plane that night with the envelope tucked against her chest, believed it was airtight. She pressed her palm to the cold window as Dubai appeared below. A constellation of gold and white light spread across the black desert. Tonight, she told herself, was the beginning of everything. The empire she had been building since leaving the palace was about to receive the injection of legitimacy it needed. By morning, she would be untouchable. She was wrong. But she would not know that for another 2 hours. The VIP customs area of Dubai International Airport is not a place that tolerates uncertainty. Cream marble floors, burnished walnut paneling, a silence that feels deliberate, almost theatrical, designed to tell the right kind of person that the world moves at their pace. Meghan walked in expecting that world. The officer at the counter did not look up when she approached. He held out his hand for her documents with the flat authority of someone who processes the elite every single day and has long since stopped being impressed by any of them. She placed her passport on the counter. Then, with the timing of a performer who knows exactly what she is doing, she laid the parchment envelope beside it. He opened it. He read it. His face gave away nothing. His fingers drifted to the keyboard. A yellow warning light blinked once on his screen. He gathered everything, passport, letter, envelope, into a rigid folder, turned his back without a single word of explanation, and walked through the door of the security room behind him. The electronic deadbolt clicked shut with a sound that was very small and very final. Meghan sat down on the premium leather sofa and watched the clock. 1 minute passed. Then 5. Then 10. Beyond the glass doors, the supercar that had been sent to collect her was burning fuel. Somewhere in the terminal, the investment group's representative was waiting. Every second of delay was another hairline fracture in the illusion she had built. She picked up her phone and dialed a former aide in London, someone who could, with a few careful words, confirm the document's apparent legitimacy if anyone called to check. The line connected. Then it cut to an automated message. She tried 3 more contacts in rapid succession. All of them silence. Disconnected. Unreachable. An entire network of people, switched off simultaneously, as though a single hand had reached into a junction box and pulled every wire at once. Because it had. What Meghan did not know, could not have known, was that her letter had never stayed inside that customs room. The investment conglomerate, cautious men who had not built a multi-billion-dollar empire by accepting documents on faith, had photographed the letter from the bidding file days earlier and sent it quietly to the British embassy in Dubai for verification. Standard due diligence. A formality. And when that photograph landed on the right desk in London, the formality became a crisis. And the crisis was handled before Meghan's plane had even touched the runway. Kensington Palace after midnight operates on a different frequency to the palace the public sees. The public version is managed, gracious, warm at the edges. The private version, the version that exists in the hours when the cameras and the courtiers have gone home, is something older and considerably more serious. In our imagined story, Prince William stood alone in his private study, facing a secured screen. The only light in the room came from the tablet in his hand. On it was a photograph of a letter bearing the crown's seal, a letter authorizing nothing and issued by no one, a ghost document designed to make a powerful institution appear to endorse something it had never seen. William did not raise his voice. He did not pace. He did not call anyone to share his outrage. He simply looked at the image with the still, focused attention of a man who was trained from birth to understand that anger is a luxury and precision is a weapon. He recognized the stationery immediately. Those blank pre-stamped sheets had once lived in stacks around his younger brother's office during Harry's years as a working royal. He had seen them dozens of times. He had assumed, as anyone would have assumed, that they had been destroyed when Harry left. They had not been destroyed. They had been taken. And now one of them was in a customs hall in the UAE, being used to impersonate the authority of the British monarchy for a $15 million business deal. William did not wake the king. He did not convene the legal team. He did not schedule a meeting. Any of those steps would have given Meghan a window, time to pivot, to counter, to spin the story before it could be shut down. Instead, he moved directly, and without ceremony. An encrypted communication went to the palace's emergency coordination office. Within the hour, every former aide, every mid-level contact in London who had ever been close to Meghan and who might plausibly receive a call asking them to validate the document, every one of them found their palace system access revoked. Email accounts locked. Desk phones cut off from external lines. The invisible network she had quietly maintained inside the royal household for years was severed in a single coordinated sweep, without a single person being told why. Simultaneously, a clear and absolute directive was transmitted to the British Consul General in Dubai. The United Kingdom offers no protection for this individual. No confirmation. No diplomatic cover. No intervention of any kind. He closed the encrypted channel. He had not raised his voice once. He had not needed to. The future King of England had just removed every escape route available to his sister-in-law using nothing more than a secured keyboard and a few hours of the night. Back in the VIP quarantine room, the expensive calm of the lounge had curdled into something suffocating. Meghan had been sitting for 30 minutes on a sofa that felt nothing like comfort, cycling through failed calls on a phone that was increasingly useless. Every number she dialed met the same flat, automated silence. She dialed Harry. Once. Twice. 3 times. Each time voicemail. In a moment when her public image was seconds away from being dismantled in front of the very investors she had crossed a continent to impress, her husband had gone completely quiet. Then the door opened. The Dubai officer stepped out, but he was not alone. Walking beside him was a man in a bespoke gray suit with a lapel pin bearing the emblem of the British Foreign Office. This man did not look at Meghan. He walked directly to the desk, drew a sealed envelope from his breast pocket, and placed it over the forged letter of patronage with the calm of someone completing a routine administrative task. It was a formal veto from London. The officer read it. He nodded. Whatever professional neutrality he had been maintaining vanished, replaced by something colder. He picked up Meghan's red-stamped letter, and without a word, fed it into the paper shredder beneath the desk. The blades ran for less than 3 seconds. The document was gone. The British consulate representative then turned and looked at Meghan for the first time. He said nothing. He gave a small, precise nod to the Dubai security personnel, a signal that required no translation. The United Kingdom does not know this woman. The United Kingdom does not stand behind her. Meghan stepped forward. Her lips were moving. The security guards moved first, 2 of them, silent, positioning themselves between her and any forward path without touching her, without speaking. The gilded VIP door closed. A gray service door opened instead. She was guided through a narrow back corridor and out into the main immigration hall, where thousands of ordinary passengers were moving through standard security checks under humming fluorescent lights. Her 3 Louis Vuitton trunks were dragged into the middle of the public floor. A manual inspection order was issued. Agents began opening them, pulling out evening gowns, jeweler boxes, and a project dossier embossed with the forged royal crest, and laying everything across gray plastic inspection trays, in full view of hundreds of people who had their phones out and recording. She had once stood on the balcony of Buckingham Palace and waved to millions. She was now being searched like a suspect at a public border crossing, in the middle of the desert, while strangers filmed her on their smartphones. The investor representative appeared through the crowd, the man in the pristine white suit with the crocodile leather briefcase. Meghan moved toward him, her hand extended. He sidestepped her without breaking stride, opened the briefcase, withdrew the project dossier bearing her name, and let it drop to the floor at her feet. Then he walked away and did not look back. The contract was dead. The deal was gone. The $15 million had evaporated, and with it the last credible pillar of the empire she had been building since leaving the palace. Back in Montecito, Harry had not slept. He stood in his darkened study, the only light coming from the laptop screen on his desk. On it was an encrypted email from a Kensington Palace server. The message contained no words. Just 2 attachments, a photograph of the forged letter, and a short video clip from the Dubai VIP security cameras showing Meghan presenting it to the officer at the desk. He closed the laptop. The sound of it snapping shut was the loudest thing in the room. He recognized that stationery. He knew exactly what those blank sheets were. He had believed they were gone. The realization of what had happened, that his wife had found them, kept them, and used them to sell the honor of the family whose name still ran through his blood, moved through him not as rage, but as something colder and more final. He walked to the security panel on the wall and pulled up the gate access controls. He cleared the existing passcode, Meghan's birthday, and replaced it with a new one. He then deactivated every auxiliary keycard attached to the property. He set the photograph on the console table face down and walked upstairs into the dark. 30 hours later, a rideshare car stopped outside the iron gates of the Montecito estate. Meghan stepped out looking nothing like the woman who had boarded that flight. The makeup was gone. The composure was gone. She dragged her suitcase across the asphalt and punched the familiar code into the gate keypad. The light flashed red. She tried again. Same answer. She pulled out her keycard and swiped it repeatedly against the reader. The gate did not move. A newly hired security guard stepped out of the booth and set a taped cardboard box on the pavement outside the gate. He told her calmly that the Duke had changed all access codes the previous morning and had issued instructions that no visitors were to be admitted. The box contained her essential personal items. The legal team would be in contact by email. He stepped back into the booth and slid the window shut. Meghan stood alone on the pavement in the ocean wind, looking at a cardboard box and a locked gate and a security camera with a blinking red light that recorded everything and offered nothing. There had been no courtroom, no public statement, no dramatic confrontation. William had not said a word publicly. Harry had said nothing at all. The Crown had not threatened her, condemned her, or acknowledged her. It had simply and completely closed every door. That is the thing about an institution built across 1,000 years. It does not need to be loud. It only needs to outlast you.